Am I wrong for wearing a wedding dress to a wedding? Okay, so like titles like these make me think you're like automatically the asshole because like everyone knows like duh, why would you wear a wedding dress to a wedding? But I feel like there's more we should dissect before we make that decision, right? So my friend, 20 female, and I, 19 male, have been friends for a few years and she recently got engaged. A week ago, I got a DM from her for a small costume party she was hosting as a celebration for her getting engaged. I asked if there was a theme and she said that there wasn't. I'm a cosplayer, so I had a lot of choices. I didn't want to rock up in anime cosplay, so I thought it would be funny to go to an engagement party as a corpse bride. I arrived at her house yesterday and everything seemed normal. A few people complimented my costume and I was having a lot of fun. After 10 minutes, my friend's fiance walked out in a black tuxedo and announced this was actually their wedding. Apparently, my friend saw a video of someone doing this and wanted to do the same. He asked us all to go to the backyard for the ceremony to begin. I went straight to him. I asked him if I should go home quickly and change my outfit and that I would get back before it started. He told me it was fine since I didn't know this was the wedding. I trusted him and followed everyone outside. They got married and everything seemed good. The reception was just in their house again, so everyone just walked back inside and picked up where they left off. I tried talking to my friend and celebrating with her, but she kept making excuses to not talk to me. I assumed it was just because she was tired from the big day and wanted some alone time. I didn't bother her after that and the party soon ended. I got home and half an hour passed when my phone started getting notifications. I checked and it was my friend texting me. She was cussing me out and telling me how I ruined her wedding. I was really confused and asked what I did. That only made her more angry. She told me it was basic knowledge not to wear a wedding dress to a wedding. I reminded her I had no idea it was a wedding and that I asked her now husband if I should change and he said it was fine. She didn't respond, but I got a text from her husband. He asked why I would tell her he said it was fine. I told him he said it was fine. Then he said I should have changed anyways and it's my fault that the two are fighting over this. I tried texting her that I was sorry and if I had known I wouldn't have done it. I woke up today and saw her and her husband have blocked me on everything. So, am I the asshole for not changing out of the wedding dress when I found out it was actually a wedding? Edit, I'm a guy. I cosplayed the character Emily from The Corpse Bride and had blue paint all over it. I'm also Australian and never heard a costume party meaning fancy. Everyone was dressed up in funny costumes. Since they blocked me on everything, I didn't try to reach out since it would be a waste of effort, but I didn't block them back. If they wanted to talk, I was fine with it. 2 days ago, I was unblocked by my friend. She asked if we could call and talk about what happened and I agreed. She apologized for blowing up at me like she did, but also told me she was still upset. I was only made aware because of the comments and now heard that wearing wedding attire to anything wedding related is common sense. All I knew was the no way on the wedding day. Honestly, after people informed me, I felt awful and downright stupid. So I apologized back for not running it through her like I should have since I didn't know. I know lots of people were telling me to cut her off, but I've known her since I was 14, so I'm glad we can stay friends. Her husband, on the other hand, he had told her that he came up to me and asked me to change. And apparently I told him it didn't matter because I was already there, or something along those lines. She was crying a lot while telling me this. After she blew up at me and I told her the real story, she got pissed at her husband. The husband suggested both of them block me so the fight would stop. She agreed to it but was still upset by it all. Eventually, she started asking people who were at the wedding to see what happened. 3 people saw me walk up to him and heard me ask. This is where she learned that her husband lied to her. Again, a huge fight between the two. Turns out he's hated me ever since I met them 5 years ago. They had already been dating for a year beforehand. I became good friends with her, but not him. He felt as though I was trying to take his girlfriend. I don't know what I did to make him feel this way. I don't know why he'd wait 5 years, but he decided the day of his wedding was the best time to get rid of me. I'm not really sure what's going to happen to them in the future. She's staying at another friend's house until her and her husband are able to talk about it. I doubt I'll update anymore like, update, they're getting a divorce, because that feels insensitive. Again, thanks to everyone for all of the advice and points of views. It helped me so much.
My fiance may die. His sister wants half of our house if he passes. My fiance was in a car accident about a week ago. He has a 50-50 chance of surviving, though things have started to look up. His sister is also his birth mother. She got pregnant at 13 and his grandparents adopted him. So legally, she is his sister.
Whoa.
She has never had any involvement in his life. His adoptive parents died 3 years ago. My fiance and I have 2 children together and own a house. We have been together since we were 13 and are getting married this October. Our house is nearly paid off and I can't afford to pay half of the house equity to her by myself. I have no idea what to do or if she even has a stake in the house. He is 23 and does not have a will. He also has a life insurance policy that she wants half of. I can't get a lawyer to talk to me without coming in for a $600 plus consult.
Yeah.
I'm hoping someone can give me some kind of direction so I can stop worrying about my children and I becoming homeless and focus focus on my fiance. This is in Ohio. Thank you.
Damn, that's so tough. And that was like a crazy wills and estates question I would get like on an exam. I feel like I had to
They would
like
put this?
Yeah.
What
oh yeah.
the
I mean,
fuck?
even weirder, but to test like your knowledge of.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's so wild. Then you have to like write a whole essay about it. But
Thank God I've never had to take a bar.
oh my gosh, 2 days, 8 hours each day. I mean, it's so crazy. The answer to this was just like, it depends. I can't remember if Ohio is a community property state or not, but that is like the first question, is whether it's a community property state. And what that means is basically, if you're in a community property state, it means that everything that you purchase while you're married is considered dual, like you have dual ownership, but anything that you acquired out of your marriage is separate property. The other question is, did they say they were married? Engaged.
So
yeah.
this post is old. We do have updates. My post got a decent amount of attention. I thought I would get an update to everyone, as I still get really sweet messages from people wishing me well, praying for me and my family.
Aw.
My fiance, now husband, did pull through.
Yay.
He's currently in our backyard setting up a tent to camp out with our 2 and 3-year-old boys. He was in a coma for over a month, and the doctors were pretty sure he would never wake up.
Wow.
His recovery was slow, and he still goes to physical therapy 4 times a week, but he is pretty much back to normal now, and we couldn't be happier. Although it was a horrible thing to go through, it changed both of us for the better. You don't realize how much the small things matter until they're about to be taken from you. He was appalled
Yeah. I was
by
gonna
his
ask.
sister's actions.
Sister mom.
When I finally discussed it with him. We recently both made wills and made sure there is no chance sister-in-law or brother-in-law will get any money if both of us were to pass.
Right.
Or, God forbid, our children too. We also chose godparents for our children, and we are expecting a baby girl in 2018.
Oh my goodness.
I really appreciate all your sweet, thoughtful messages I was sent. They definitely made me feel better on bad days to know people were praying for him.
I, 32 female, cheated on my wife, 32 female, and I feel terrible. How should I proceed? My wife, Rita, and I have been married for 4 years, and we dated for 2 years before that. I mostly do freelance stuff from home, and she owns a business with her best friend. Their business has always meant a lot to Rita, to the point where I sometimes think that she tied her self-worth to its success. When COVID hit and all the lockdown stuff happened, it hit the business hard. It took over Rita's life. She would spend a lot of her days there without coming home. Even when she came home, she was very tired and didn't have any time for us. This went on for months until things started looking up, but the next waves hit and the whole thing started again. Before this whole thing, we had a good marriage. We were open and spent a lot of time with each other. So when she stopped spending time with me, it hit me hard. I was understanding and didn't bother her. I took care of things at home and looked after her. But even after her business started doing better, she still spent most of her time there. I tried talking to her about it, but she would spend a few days at home and then go back there. I even tried taking her on a vacation, but she was distracted and worried about work. All of this left me feeling isolated. I felt like I was the only one putting effort into our marriage. Almost 2 months ago, I met an especially beautiful and charming woman at the gym. I don't know why, but I told her I was single. She asked me out for coffee and I was swept up in the whole thing. 2 weeks after meeting each other regularly, she invited me back to her home, and one thing led to another, if you know what I mean. The magnitude of the thing I did hit me the next day. I felt guilty and terrible. I decided that I needed to get a divorce. I stopped going to the gym and broke up with her. When I started getting things in order to file a divorce, Rita came home and told me that she hired someone to take over for her. She even booked a surprise vacation for us. She started spending a lot more time at home. I kept postponing the divorce after this sudden change, even though I felt guilty. She started taking an active role in our life after almost 2 years, and our marriage has healed significantly. I know what I did was terrible. I'm not defending myself. I don't know how to proceed now. The guilt is eating me every day. I'm so afraid of losing her when I just got her back. How do I tell her? My ex-girlfriend got revenge on me and I'm so broken. I'm male 25. I've been with my ex-girlfriend Carly, female 23, for nearly 10 years. We were high school sweethearts and we had a good relationship until after she completed college. Adulthood has been putting strain on our relationship, so bills and finding sustaining jobs has been a challenge. We started arguing a bunch and just started overall being annoyed with each other's existence. We weren't sleeping in the same room, let alone be intimate. It was a tough time to say the least. We tried therapy and I felt like it wasn't working. I honestly wanted to be done, but I couldn't break up with her because we lived together and she helped me get out of debt. So I did something horrible and I started cheating on her with her childhood best friend. I thought she would never find out, and I was wrong. Yesterday afternoon, I came home and she wanted to talk, and without hesitation, she jumped straight into it and asked me point blank if I was cheating on her. And I, of course, try to lie, and she just starts laughing and says, I knew you weren't going to admit it, but I was going to give you the benefit of the doubt. So now I just feel less guilty. I just confessed to her, and she just looked at me like she didn't have any expression nor speak. When I finished, she just laughed and told me that I would never forget it. She said, honestly, it's fine because Louis was over last weekend and we had a great time. My heart dropped to my stomach because Louis is my big brother. I just thought it was a low blow on Carly, given she knew how insecure I was about my brother. He's the golden child and literally always did things 10 times better than me. I'm stuck having to have some sort of relationship with him, and meanwhile she can just drop her friend. My chest and heart has been hurting so much since I found out, and I'm broken. I know I was wrong for cheating first, but if she knew, why didn't she just break up with me first? I call it out of work because I feel like throwing up just thinking about it.
Am I the asshole for using my friend's logic against her and making her cry? I, 36 female, went no contact with my narcissistic family last year as I was done being their scapegoat. My friend was encouraging me to call my mother and reconcile for Mother's Day. I explained again the emotional and mental abuse I went through and her refusal to take accountability or seek therapy. She then lectured me on how it's hard being a parent because she's a parent and I'm not, and as the eldest, you should have helped your mother around the house more. And that I should let bygones be bygones and call my mother for Mother's Day. So I said, you'd think if I did more chores and accepted more parentification, that wouldn't have happened to me? Am I the asshole for using my friend's logic against her and making her cry? I said, if it's too hard to be decent to your own kid, then you shouldn't be a parent. Maybe you should have helped your abusive ex-husband around the house more, and maybe you shouldn't have had dinner 10 minutes late. Because you know his job is stressful and it's hard being a provider and a father. Then I mentioned that next month is Father's Day, so you should call and reconcile with him. And how could I as a child stop the behavior of an adult when you as an adult couldn't stop your husband from doing that to you? She then cried and walked off, and our mutual friends agree she was wrong to pressure me, but that I did definitely take it too far. But I genuinely just did it to make a point. Am I wrong? Am I the asshole for rushing home to get my sister's forgotten wedding veil, but giving up on bringing it? My oldest sister Odette just got married at a venue 2 hours away, and Odette planned to wear our great-great-grandma Mary's veil. In our family, it's considered good luck and heavily sentimental. We have multiple bridal pictures of eldest daughters in the veil while standing with their mom and grandma. The bridal party and family met at Odette's house before driving to the venue, and the veil was in the garment bag but must have fell out. We made it to the venue by noon for the 4 p.m. wedding, and Odette realized the veil was missing and ran to me in a panic. She asked me to go get it, but I told her I don't think I can make it there and back.